All right, good evening, everyone. We have a public hearing on introductory local law number 1 of 2025, deleting zone code 164-41C 4F, and creating new chapter 80A relating to fences. The proposed law has been posted on our website and provided for feedback and comment. The history on this is that we've received some recommendations from the public that we consider amending our town code to permit fences in side and rear yards greater than 6 feet. So the town board, after our workshop discussion, considered proposing a law that will allow up to a maximum of 8 feet for rear and side yards on town properties. We've also made some other technical adjustments and changes to make the code a little bit more clear and easier to find for the public. This law and the proposed code has been available in the town clerk's office for several weeks and on the website. So at this time, we'll open it up to any, is there any comment from the board on local law number 1, amending the fence law? None? We'll open it up to the public on any public comment on local law number 1. None? And I thank you for bringing it to our attention to consider. One thing that I did when I was mayor of Greenwood Lake was because we had a similar code, 6-foot-high fences, we changed the code to permit residential homes that were next to commercial properties. We would allow those homes to put up to 8-foot fences. Obviously, if you're next to a lumber yard or a restaurant, you wanted to have the ability to go up 8 foot. Generally, I don't think it makes sense for villages to have the same height as an 8 foot because their homes are much closer together and it might feel a little, but a lot of our properties in the town of Warwick outside of the villages have property, acre, 2 acres, 3 acres, and they might be in the woods where they have deer problems and other issues. So we do feel that it makes sense in this case to change the town code. We have gotten some good feedback, zero negative feedback on this. We've gotten some good positive feedback, but we probably will make a couple of additional changes to the actual ordinance itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep the public hearing open, and then if we don't receive any overwhelming negative feedback between now and the next meeting, we will then hopefully move to consider passing the local law. So one more opportunity from the public for any comment on the fence law. Yes. Yep, if we make any changes, can you just state your name for the record? Just so
It's like San Antonio, but L-I-A-N-T-O-N-I-O.
Thank you. Yes, if we make any changes, we are bound by law to post those updates before we consider voting. So if we make any changes to this proposed law, we will post it on the website as well as include it and make it available in the town clerk's office. Okay. All right, no other comments from the board? All right, we're not going to close the public hearing, so we will go right into the town meeting. I would like to call to order the February 13th town board meeting. If you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would the clerk please call roll?
Supervisor Pryor?
Here.
Councilman Holt?
Here.
Councilman D'Angelo?
Here.
Councilman Manley?
Present.
Councilman Schubacker?
Here.
All are present. I make a motion that we accept the regular meeting minutes from the January 23rd, 2025 meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Any discussion from the board on the correspondence that is listed in addendum number 1 in everyone's packet? Okay. We have no visiting elected officials. We'll go right into reports of boards and department heads, beginning with Police Chief John Rader.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I reported on this before, but hopefully this is the final report on it. On February 4th, Tyler Williams of Middletown was sentenced to 20 years in state prison for the arson he committed in the Wickham Village section of Warwick in December of 2023. This was an extensive investigation conducted by our detective unit with the assistance of the New York State Police, the Town of Goshen Police, the District Attorney's Office, the ATF, the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and the Orange County Fire Investigative Unit. Williams admitted in open court to intentionally starting the fire as a retaliation for tickets he received the night before from a New York State trooper. He conducted internet searches and mistakenly thought the house that he lit on fire belonged to the trooper, when in fact it belonged to the trooper's father, who was home at the time of the fire, as well as 2 children. No one was injured in the fire. The work that was put in to this investigation by our department was exemplary, and it will be recognized at a future board meeting. On this past Monday, the 11th, we switched over to a new phone system, replacing one that was over 30 years old. The updated features will have a positive impact on our dispatching abilities as well as the day-to-day business of the department. And on behalf of the police department, we want to thank the town supervisor and the board for implementing this and supporting this much-needed upgrade. On Monday, we also switched over to a new records management system that was implemented by the county. I know in the police world, when you switch over to a newfangled gadget or something, it's supposed to be cool and everything. This is technology, and this one was a personal goal for me, a professional goal, and I'm glad the county did this. But this new modern system replaced an outdated system that we had that was no longer supported by the vendor. Warwick was one of 3 agencies in the county that was chosen to go in the first wave of implementation, and this was due in a large part to the dedication of the department members that we assigned to the project team. The project was no small undertaking, and as a result of this program and with the grant funding, several approvals that the board did that we could use the grant funds to do this, we updated the technology in all of our patrol units, and now for the first time since the days when we were handwriting reports, we can do all our work in the field. When you take into consideration the size of our patrol area, this update is a pivotal turning point for the service that we're going to be able to provide the community. And last, I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but we have more inclement weather predicted for this coming weekend, so we're asking that all vehicles be not left on the roadways, that the DPW can do their job, and all unnecessary travel be avoided. We've had a number of storms this past winter, as we all know, and we've been inundated with motor vehicle accidents at each storm. So we ask people to avoid the travel if possible and give our DPW a break so they can get the roads cleared as soon as possible. That's all I have, unless there's any questions from the board.
I just want to congratulate you and thank you for your hard work, as well as your team and the department, including your dispatch staff and all the officers who worked so hard to, as they say it, pull us out of the Stone Age and bring us into the 21st century. And I think it's not only a good thing for the taxpayers, but it's a good thing for the department. It keeps them safe, less wear and tear on the cars. These officers can now write reports and do more work in the field, and that keeps them out on patrol longer instead of pulling them off of the road to do their job. So you were able to use grant funding to do it, which is incredible. That's a big mission of ours and obviously a big mission of yours. And it was a great job, so congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I
Good work.
appreciate that.
And you sort of gave some of Ben's report, which is good. He's going to be happy to hear that. We'll go into Water Sewer. Deputy Commissioner McPherson.
Good evening. All of our routine operations and daily maintenance is being completed. All the stops are being checked daily, samples collected, and all of our regulatory reporting is being done. On January 24th, we had our first water main break of the winter on Jersey Ave and Greenwood Lake. This is the first main break we've had in Greenwood Lake since February of '24. We were able to isolate a part of the system with a valve we had installed at last break, so about half of the system was able to stay in service while we repaired the leak. We were able to get a crew on site and get the leak excavated and repaired with about 3.5 hours of downtime on the system. We have begun working on a solution to get a treatment system in place for the town park on Union Corners Road. Again, this is an unfunded mandate by the Department of Health to install a treatment system for the town park water source. We're working with our engineer and have started looking into what's hopefully some not so costly ideas for how to comply with that request. The engineers for the new Pine Island well project have informed us that they have finally received a response back from the State Health Department on the connection of the new Pine Island well. We have a conference call with them tomorrow to find out what will be next for that project. And just for the sewer plant, We've had some minor issues at the wastewater treatment plant, all of which have been resolved, but we've had some electrical issues powering vital pieces of equipment, as well as a large motor that powers the treatment process go down as well. We were able to replace that with a spare we have, and the plant has been operating okay since. We continue to keep that plant going the best we can until we can get to our final goal for that facility. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Matt? Thank you. Recreation Director Walter?
So my report's mainly about Mountain Lake Park. We just finished up, the core theater group just finished up Always Patsy Cline. I don't know if anybody had a chance to see it, but they did a great job. And DPW did an awesome job of keeping Bowen Road clear, and the park was, Butch kept that clear, so we used every bit of parking, all the gravel lots. So it was great. It was busy. We had a wedding, the same time we had a matinee, but we made it through. There was supposed to be a community dance party this weekend on Saturday at the park, but they postponed that, and they're not going to use the snow date. They're going to go wait till April because the weather's just looking too iffy this weekend. So that's done by the Iron Horse Sanctuary in Goshen, and it benefits the cats that are living at the barn. And you can get more information about that on the park's calendar, mtlakepark.com. And then Greenwood Lake Theater Company is getting ready to do a series of free community plays at the park, and that's called the New Works Festival. It's going to be a unique opportunity for unknown playwrights to produce their plays and then get feedback from the audience. So that starts March 8th and 9th at the park, and you can find more information about that on Greenwood Lake's website. And then the park is busy because people are out and enjoying the snow, which is great, but we are already thinking about summer, especially with the pools. And most of the pool information should be posted. We're getting a lot of emails about swim lessons, when they can buy pool memberships. So that should be up pretty soon on the town's website and the park's website. And April 1st, Eileen, right? April 1st is when we're going to have pool passes for sale, and also swim lessons will open April 1st, right here, Town Hall. And that's it for my report.
My wife and a friend went to the play, and they said it was amazing.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, they said everything about it was just awesome. They had a little bar set up, and
Yep.
yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
It's a nice job. They all did a really great job.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Any other questions for Sam? Thank you, Sam.
Okay.
The town clerk has the senior liaison report.
Okay, this is from Judy Quackenbush, our president. She said that they had a president's meeting on Monday, February 10th. All groups were represented. There were about 25 members in attendance. First, she would like to thank the supervisor and Councilman Mattingly because they attended the meeting and listened to their concerns. He answered questions and allotments. We updated the information on the senior clubs, verifying phone numbers, meeting times, and contacts. She will get the new information to Melissa to update on the website. A discussion was held about the senior barbecue, and a suggestion was made to move it to a cooler month. To help solve some of the bus issues, it was decided that when a group made reservations, the information will be sent to Judy, the president, and she would email flyers to all the groups. This way, everyone will know about all the trips, and the groups can share buses. A shared exchange of speakers was discussed. Groups were encouraged to invite the Office of the Aging, fire companies, our police department, Friendly Visitors Program, Warwick Cares, and many more. Judy announced that there are ongoing driving courses at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church that welcome seniors, and groups will be encouraged to send a representative to the Orange County Senior Council, which meets every 3 months. Their next meeting will be April 12th. The seniors and Judy would like to thank all the board for all they do. That's it.
Thank you. And I want to thank Judy for pulling together that large group of 20 or more seniors the other day. It was a good opportunity for Tom and myself to hear their concerns and talk to them about some issues. It's always fun. All right, we're going to go right into town board reports, beginning with Councilman D'Angelo.
Okay, good evening. For the Warwick Valley Humane Society, the replacement HVAC system for the kennels has been completed by Nebraska Plumbing and is working great. The doggy kennel doors have been delivered and installed. This will help them tremendously with their utility bills, and they want to thank the town for allowing them to upgrade in the kennels. They have applied for a New York State companion animal grant for the purchase and installation of a full facility generator. Now, they have a much-needed wish list: paper towels, paper plates, large and small, bleach, simple green cleaner, spray bottles, white vinegar, which is used to clean rabbits and guinea pigs, newspapers, and pine pellets. And that's all I have for the Humane Society. For the Warwick, Town of Warwick Friendly Visitors Program, the number of neighbors assisted during the month of January was 18. The number of volunteers assisting those neighbors was 18. An incredible number of hours, though. The total number of services provided by the volunteers amounted to 164 hours. It was 201 services. Now, I have received, actually the town received an email from the daughter of a senior citizen that was being helped by the Friendly Visitor Program, and I'd like to read that. It says, "Good afternoon. I'm connecting you to let you know about a wonderful volunteer that you guys have in the Friendly Visitor Program. Janet Getz has been visiting my mob for the past several years. She food shopped for my homebound mother every week. She was always there and made sure to call if she couldn't make it for some reason. My mom always looked forward to seeing her, and it helped to have someone stop in and chat besides the family. Janet visited Mom in the hospital and rehab over the years when her health declined. Unfortunately, my mother passed away in January. I will always be appreciative for everything that Janet has done for my mom. You have an amazing program and a fantastic volunteer in Janet. When I finally retire from the police department, I hope to return the favor and volunteer for the program myself." And I think that says a lot for our program. It really does. So if you want to volunteer, they're having volunteer training on February 27th from 5 to 6. It's virtual on Zoom. And you can contact the Jewish Federation of Orange County at 845-341-1173, extension 305. If you have any questions, you can call our representative at 986, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll give you the right number. It's 845-986-1124, extension 400, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Cole, your report, please.
Thank you. I'm continuing to assist the town historian in restoring the markers. That's one of the projects that she'd like to have done for this year in anticipation of the 250th anniversary in 2026. Monday morning, when the ground was still frozen, I went to there's a marker in front of the CYO in Pine Island. I took that off, called the police, let them know that I took it down, and took it to a welding shop over in New Hampton where I used to work, all gas welding. They were highly confident that they were able to repair it. It was a little bit tricky. It's aluminum. Most of the other markers a majority of them are cast iron, which is tricky to repair itself. But cast aluminum is especially difficult, but they were highly confident that they'd find a way to repair it for us. There's 2 more markers that need repair. I'm gonna take them each in one at a time, and that way, by the time it's warm enough to paint them, we'll have them ready for paint this spring, and we'll have that project out of the way, and we look forward to other events in 2026 for our celebration. I don't think we have as much enthusiasm as we did for the bicentennial, but we're trying to make people more aware of the history in the town and the part that we played. You know, the iron from the chains that went across the West Point, a lot of that steel iron came from over by Sterling Forest. It was mined over there, and the people who got caught mining it and refining it for that chain, they would have been executed, because it was an act of rebellion, and they didn't take too kindly to that back in those days. So it's a very interesting area. There's a lot of history around. I'm learning more as I spend more time with Sue Gardner, and it's been educational and enlightening. So keep an eye out for different things that are going on, and hopefully we can start announcing a few events that are going to be going on in the short future. Thank you.
Now, you said All Gas is donating their time, correct?
Yes.
That's incredible.
That's, yeah,
Maybe
they like a challenge. And,
When we're done, let's try to get a photo of them with the sign and,
oh,
you know,
certainly,
really
yeah.
highlight
Yeah,
that.
they said, bring it on. We're happy to do it, and I'll take the other two in. The cast iron shouldn't be as difficult as the aluminum one. I took them the worst one first, so we see how we do. But
Your welding is not cheap, so we appreciate their donated labor.
Yep.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Mattingly.
Thank you, Supervisor. Join Reverend Dr. Anne Marie Bensy Addison for Black History Month celebration at Union AME Church, 98 McEwen Street, on February 23rd, 2025, from 2 to 4 p.m. Also on February 23rd, the Hudson Valley Jazz Quintet will perform at the Mulder Chapel at the Warwick Conference Center at 6:30 p.m., 62 Center Road in Warwick, and made possible by the Orange County Arts Council, Warwick Conference Center, Hudson Valley Jazz Festival, and New Hearts Store. The suggested donation is $20. For the Warwick Valley Chamber of Commerce, their 5th annual golf outing is May 23rd, 2025 at Great Gorge Golf Club, and registration is open. For information about registration and sponsorships, please contact the Warwick Valley Chamber at wvcc.org, info@wvcc.org, or call 845-986-2720. On Thursday, February 27th, from 5:30 to 7:30, the Chamber will hold an after-hours mixer at the Jane Street Distillery, 41 Jane Street in Florida. And the 10th anniversary ribbon cutting for Warwick Valley Olive Oil is on February 28th at 4 p.m. They're right on Railroad Avenue. The Pine Island Chamber of Commerce monthly meeting is Monday, February 18th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Pine Island Firehouse, 684 County Route 1, Pine Island. And the Village of Florida Chamber of Commerce monthly meeting will actually be at Mattingly's Tavern on Thursday, February 27th from 7 to 9 p.m., 16 North Main Street, Florida, New York. And that is my report for this evening.
Thank you. Councilman Schuback, your report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd just like to say that the Highway Department's been doing a great job plowing everything, and I would just like to ask people not to plow out into the roads and leave the snow there, because some people do that. It's very dangerous if you leave your snow out in the road, because some car could come and hit it. Also, too, we actually took the delivery of our new roadside mower, which is going to greatly help us eliminate some of the, mow our banks and along our roads. And now this time of year, we have a different head on it, which they could cut small brush down. So a lot of our roads, there's a lot of trees on the side and brush, and we'll get a lot more clearance. And mower was a great addition to the highway department here. So hopefully we'll be able to maintain the sides of the roads a lot better.
Thank you, Councilman. Town Clerk Astorino, your report, please.
We had a slow month, which was, due to the weather probably. I'm sure it'll pick up once the spring comes. But we took in, for the month of January, $13,027.19, and we paid out $2,581.22. We have a bid proposal for 2 cubic feet concrete mixer. The first is from Montague Tool and Supply for $4,152.95. The second is Pro Tool Inc. Their proposal is $4,499.99, and the last is from Rowe Brothers Inc. for $5,609.53. We also have a bid proposal to grind the pile of wood, stumps, and brush at the DPW yard in Warwick and Greenwood Lake. The first is from Peter Downs and Son Inc. Their proposal is for $3,000 per hour. This does not include disposal. And then the second is from Material Processor Inc. Their proposal is $2,900 per hour, and it does include disposal. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, during the town board workshop, I went over some of these items with the town board. Most of them are resolutions tonight that I wanted to make sure that the public had an opportunity to hear a little more details on. We received a letter from the Village of Florida asking for the town board's support for a traffic light that will be installed at the intersection of Ferries and 94. The town board will entertain a motion tonight to support the village's application. We are moving forward with the Safe Streets study, which is going to be an intermunicipal agreement between the town of Warwick and all three villages. This is to do a study analysis of all of the streets within the town of Warwick and determine how we can make those streets a little bit safer, analyze street traffic lights or street signs or any other devices that might be necessary, and more specifically in the villages, any different traffic patterns that might be necessary. So we're working with the villages on that, and more details of the plan will come out soon. The first step in this process is to secure a professional designer that will actually execute this study on our behalf. So we'll be going out to RFP, request for proposals, for this design firm. Tonight, you're going to hear us make a motion that will be promoting one of our employees in the DPW to a machine equipment operator. Tony Radinsky is a great worker within the town DPW. He's currently a laborer, and we'll be promoting him to an MEO this evening. We are moving full steam ahead with 5 FEMA projects, and when I say FEMA projects, these are from a hurricane a few years back where we secured FEMA funding to replace culverts, 4 culverts and 1 retaining wall. The 5 projects are one on Hoyt Road, Cascade Road, Ball Road, Pumpkin Hill Road, and Old Ridge is the retaining wall. We're going to go out to bid within the next couple of weeks. We'll have bid packages will be available online for anybody interested in working on these projects. And the one main requirement that we're going to have in these projects is that all of the work must be completed by September 1st. We don't want to have any impact on the fall season here in the town of Warwick. As the clerk mentioned, we are going to accept a bid from a company to grind material that's left behind at the DPW, as well as the Boy Scout camp located on East Shore Road. I don't know if anybody recalls, but during the tornado that we had in Greenwood Lake, the town board allowed residents in the area, in the impacted area, to dispose of any brush or any items on their property, which hopefully helped because they cleaned out all of their yards, and then a few months later we had a forest fire. So we hope that we made a small contribution in allowing residents to dump their brush temporarily there. And then we're going to have a company come in and actually grind the brush and get that park reopened. You would not believe the amount of debris that was left behind there, not only from residents dropping off what was left from their yard, but just the trees that went down from that hurricane and that microburst on that property alone was incredible. I want to thank the town of Monroe. They've got an extra stockpile of sand and salt mix. Right now is a big problem trying to get salt throughout the state, and we've partnered with the town of Monroe. They have switched over to straight salt, and they've got an entire barn full of a salt sand mix, which is what we use in the town of Warwick. It makes a lot more sense than just using straight salt. Straight salt will not do anything for the hills that we have in Warwick when the temperatures are really cold, so we use a combination of sand and salt mix. So the town of Monroe is going to sell us at a very good deal, $40 a ton, which is more than half, less than half of what we would pay if we went out to any other contractor. We have been using our grant writer extensively. We get notices, I get notices almost every single day of grants that make sense for the town. One that's very interesting, which I'm working with the deputy commissioner on, is a water meter replacement project town-wide. We have 7 water districts throughout the town, and many of the water meters that are determining how much water these residents use, they're outdated. They're 30, 40 years old. So we were trying to really replace these last year, and then we found that the cost was astronomical. And some of these districts are small, and they're not well-funded districts. So finding a grant for this water meter replacement is a priority of ours. And fortunately, about a week and a half ago, our new grant writer sent us a notification for a grant that is specifically for water meter replacements, and we are going to begin that application for that. We are making progress with our Wickham Water District's income survey. So far, we've received 87 income surveys back. the threshold is we need a minimum of 257 in order for the income survey to be considered complete. We have a lot more work to do, and we're receiving income surveys back every single day, but if anyone is listening from the Kings Estate area or the Wickham Village area, if you received a letter from us with a confidential income survey, please get it to us no later than February 28th, so that we can then determine if we need to do any other outreach efforts. But this process is critical in receiving grants. Getting an income survey is a vital component to any grant application, and if we're able to get a complete income survey back, then our applications will be that much more competitive when trying to get grants. I just got an email today, which was very nice to receive, that once again the town of Warwick was declared a tree city. So for the year 2024, the town of Warwick is considered a tree city, and we will be honored and recognized at the state level for our efforts to add forests and vital trees within our town. And Sam and I met the other day with another grant, Trees for Tribs, trying to put more riparian buffers along stream beds, and we're going to apply for another grant to put in, I think, 10,000 square feet worth of trees in the prison property right along the riparian area along Wawanda Creek. We have a moving up ceremony this Saturday. The town board, many members from the town board are going to attend the town of Warwick's Boy Scout troop at Mountain Lake Park, February 15th at 11 a.m. We're going to present some nice certificates for their accomplishment. This is essentially when Cub Scouts turn into Boy Scouts. My son and his den just completed this process last Saturday. I was his co-den leader, and that was a great ceremony, so we look forward to going to that again. One other thing that I wanted to mention to the town board: there was a law enacted a few years back in the state of New York that says if any cemetery is abandoned by the organization that was once charged with running it, then the municipality, the town that it is located within, must take full responsibility for the cemetery. Now, ordinarily, when a cemetery association disbands, it's not the worst thing in the world, because usually the cemetery is full. For example, the one on Kings Highway, the town of Warwick maintains and we have full control over, but fortunately for us, all of the plots are full. Greenwood Lake, that is not the case. There are many plots that are still open and have been purchased and called for. So basically, as of last week, the town of Warwick will be fully responsible for managing and administering all remaining plots as well as the land for the Greenwood Lake Cemetery. This is a new thing. I never thought that I would be managing a cemetery, but as town supervisor, sometimes you have to take out the garbage and manage a cemetery from time to time. But it'll be a challenge, but not one that the town of Warwick cannot handle. So we'll deal with that as it comes, and I'll update the board as anything else comes out of that situation. That time, that concludes my report. We will open it up to privilege of the floor on any agenda item. Any agenda item, you will have another opportunity to speak when general privilege of the floor opens. Okay? We'll go right into new business, which is the resolutions section of everyone's packet.
Motion to adopt the following resolution. Whereas the town board of the town of Warwick is considering certain improvements in the town parkland property known as Mountain Lake Park, including but not limited to site drainage improvements, along with miscellaneous site improvements in areas surrounding the existing administration office and arts building on the site. Drainage improvements including the installation of new catch basins, swales, culvert pipes, outlet structures. Site improvements shall also include install of new asphalt parking spaces, a new site retaining wall, grading, replacement of small concrete pads, and a walkway along the building perimeter, and exterior waterproof measures along with the building's foundation. Herein the action or proposed action. Whereas the New York State Environmental Conservation Law and Regulations, Department of Environmental Conservation, as contained in NYCRR's Part 617, require review of possible environmental consequences of the proposed action under consideration by the town board. And whereas the town board has considered the nature and impact of the proposed action and has received an environmental assessment form prepared by the attorney for the town. Now, therefore, it is resolved that the town of Warwick Town Board hereby declares itself lead agency with respect to the environmental impact review of the action as defined by the Environmental Quality Review Act, its regulations, and is further resolved that the board hereby finds and concludes that its actions is an unlisted action as defined by the State Environmental Quality Review Act and its regulations. And it is further resolved that the Board of Trustees further finds that and concludes that the performance of the action would facilitate the provision, maintenance, or improvement of the town park known as Mountain Lake Park. The board has also considered the following factors to make the following conclusions in respective to its review of the environmental impacts of the proposed action. 1, proposed action will not result in any substantial adverse change in existing air quality, ground or surface water quality or quantity, traffic or noise levels, or any other substantial increase in the solid waste production, nor increase a substantial increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, leaching, or drainage problems. 2, the proposed action would not result in the removal of or destruction of large quantities of vegetation or fauna, subsequential interference or with the movement of any resident or migratory fish or wildlife species, impacts on a significant habitat area, substantial adverse impacts on a threatened or endangered species of plant or animal habitat, or such a species or other significant adverse impacts to natural resources. 3, the proposed action would not impair the environmental characteristics of any critical environmental area. 4, the proposed action would not conflict with the community's current plans or goals as official, approved, or adopted. 5, the proposed action would not impair the character or quality of important historical, archaeological, or architectural or aesthetic resources of or of existing community or neighborhood character. 6, the proposed action would not result in a major change in the use of either the quantity or type of energy. 7, the proposed action would not create a hazard to human health. 8, the proposed action would not create a substantial change in the intensity of use of land, including agricultural, open space, or recreational resources, or in its capacity to support the existing uses. 9, the proposed action would not encourage or attract large numbers of persons to any place for more than a few days compared to the number who would come in such a place without such action. 10, the proposed action would not create changes in 2 or more elements of the environment, no one of which would have a significant impact on the environment, but when considered together, would result in a substantial adverse impact on the environment. 11, the proposed action would not create a substantial adverse impacts when considered cumulatively with any other actions proposed or in process. 12, the proposed action would not result in a substantial adverse impact with respect to any relevant environmental consideration, including noise, aesthetics, traffic, air quality, water quality, or adequacy of water quality, drainage, soil conditions, or quality of life in the community in general and the immediate neighborhood in particular. 13, the proposed action would enhance the protection of the environment and reduce density of the applicable zoning districts. C, the proposed action would not have a significant adverse environmental impact as a result of its negative declaration is appropriate. D, no further environmental review is required with respect to the proposed action. And E, the supervisor, his designee is authorized to complete the environmental assessment form prepared by the attorney for the town in relation to the proposed action in a manner consistent with the foregoing findings of the negative declaration.
Second.
There'll be a roll call vote.
Supervisor Dwyer? Aye. Councilman D'Angelo?
Here.
Councilman Cole?
Aye.
Councilman Mattingly?
Aye.
Councilman Shuback?
Aye.
Let the record show 5 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion carried. I make a motion to accept a bid proposal from Montague Tool and Supply for a 6 cubic foot concrete mixer at a price not to exceed $4,152.95.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion for the town of Warwick to support the Village of Florida's effort to have a traffic light installed at the intersection of Ferries Avenue and North Main Street in the Village of Florida.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to waive Mountain Lake Indoor Theater rental fee for the Greenwood Lake Theater on March 7th through 9th, 2025, and May 3rd and 4th, 2025, to host performances free to the community.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to adopt a resolution to promote Anthony Rudinsky from labor to motor equipment operator at grade 5, step 9, pay rate of $33.14 per hour, as per the CSEA contract, effective February 15, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to appoint Lizzie Ortez as a Town of Warwick Animal Control Officer as per recommendation of the Humane Society's President's Letter dated February 6, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion granting permission to the following applicants to serve alcohol at the Town of Warwick parks, rental facilities. All applicants have filed a certificate of liability and liquor liability insurance with the town clerk's office. The applicant listed below.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to authorize the town to seek bids for the following projects in the town of Warwick: 1 Hoyt Road precast concrete structure, 2 Cascade Road precast concrete structure, 3 Ball Road precast concrete structure, 4 Pumpkin Hill Road precast concrete structure. The bid specifications can be obtained in the town's at the town's website, townofwarwick.org. All sealed bids must be received by the town clerk, 132 Kings Highway, Warwick, New York, 10990 on or before March 11, 2025 at 10 a.m., at which time these proposals will be opened and read. 1 Hoyt Road culvert replacement, 2 Cascade Road culvert replacement, 3 Ball Road culvert replacement, 4 Pumpkin Hill Road culvert replacement, 5 Old Ridge Road retaining wall. The bid specifications can be obtained on the town's website, townofwarwick.org. All sealed bids must be received by the town clerk, 132 Kings Highway, Warwick, New York, on or before March 25, 2025 at 10 a.m., at which time these proposals will be opened and read. The town of Warwick reserves the right to reject any and all bids and to waive any formality or technicality to any bids or make an award to other than the low bidder. The town of Warwick reserves the right to award all or any part of the work or to cancel the entire project. Bids shall be awarded in accordance with the General Municipal Law 103.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to accept bid proposal from Material Processing, Inc. for grinding and removal of wood stumps and brush at the Warwick DBW yard in Greenwood Lake in an amount not to exceed $2,900 per hour.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to appoint Catherine Petrillo Klein as a member of the Town of Warwick Conservation Board for a 3-year term to expire February 29th, 2028.
Second.
The clerk says it is a leap year, as I was looking at that date, too. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to authorize the supervisor to spend up to $10,500 on repair to town-owned rental properties located on 45 and 47 Bowen Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to authorize the supervisor to purchase sand and salt mix from the town of Monroe at a rate of $40 per ton.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to adopt the following resolution, whereas the Town of Warwick Board is proposing permanent replacement of 4 culverts damaged during Hurricane Ida in the following locations: Hoyt Road, Cascade Road, closest to Brady Road, Ball Road, and Pumpkin Hill Road. And whereas the Town of Warwick Board is proposing permanent replacement of a retaining wall damaged during Hurricane Ida along Old Ridge Road. And whereas short environmental assessment forms, EAFs, were prepared to address potential environmental effects of each of the 5 proposed actions. And whereas after comparing the thresholds contained in 6 NYC RR 617.4 and .5, the Town of Warwick Board has determined that each of the proposed projects are listed as a Type 2 action, do not significantly impact the environment, or are otherwise precluded from environmental review under seeker. And whereas After examining each EAF, the town board has determined that there are other involved and/or federal agencies on this matter which may make their own determinations of significance. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Warwick Board hereby declares itself lead agency for the review of these actions. Be it further resolved that determinations of significance will be made at such time as all information has been received by the town board to enable it to determine whether each action will or will not have a significant effect on the environment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion to adopt the following notice of determination. This notice is issued pursuant to Part 617 of the implementing regulations pertaining to Article 8 State Environmental Quality Review Act of the Environmental Conservation Law. The Town of Warwick Town Board as lead agency has determined that the proposed actions described below will not have a significant impact on the environment, and a draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. Name of action: replacement of 4 culverts on town roads and replacement of a retaining wall supporting a town road. Seeker status Type 2 for each of the 5 projects. Description of action: the Town of Warwick proposes to replace 4 culverts and 1 retaining wall that were damaged during Hurricane Ida. Each project has been designed to applicable state and federal requirements, and all environmental permits have been received or are forthcoming. The maintenance work at each location will not generate any public controversy, and the only temporary impact is local road closures with designated detour routes to facilitate construction of the culverts and retaining wall. Locations: Hoyt Road, Cascade Road, closest to Brady Road, Ball Road, and Pumpkin Hill Road, and Old Ridge Road, all located in the Town of Warwick, Orange County, New York. Reasons supporting this determination: number 1, the Town of Warwick Town Board has given due consideration to the subject actions as defined in 6 NYCRR 617.2B and 617.3G. After reviewing the 5 short environmental impact assessment forms, EAFs, the actions the Town of Warwick Town Board has concluded that any environmental effects of the proposed projects will not exceed any of the criteria for determining significance found in 6 NYCRR 617.7C. 3, the total cumulative amount of land affected is 0.82 acres or less than 1 acre. Proper erosion control measures during the construction process will minimize or avoid impacts on the water quality of the streams that pass through the culverts. The actions are designed to achieve bank stabilization, to alleviate future flooding concerns while improving existing conditions associated with the streams, culverts, roads, and retaining wall. Number 5, the proposed actions are related to construction, so the impacts on surrounding land uses, such as noise, dust, and construction traffic, will be short-term in nature and are expected to last only a few days. Number 6, each project site does not contain suitable habitat for the bog turtle, monarch butterfly, and small world begonia. To accommodate for the Indiana bat and the northern long-eared bat, it is noted that there are no trees in the work area at Cascade Road and Ball Road. There were a couple of potential trees in the work areas at Pumpkin Hill Road and Hoyt Road. These trees were inspected by a designated biologist with over 40 years of experience in environmental studies in New York State, and he concluded that these trees did not feature bat roosting habitat. There was 1 dead tree located along Old Ridge Road that could potentially be habitat for bats, but that tree has fallen or been removed. For further information, contact myself at 132 Kings Highway, Warwick, New York 10990 at 845-986-1120.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to adopt the following resolution: whereas the Town of Warwick Board is the seeker lead agency for conducting the environmental review of the proposed permanent replacement of 4 culverts in the following locations: Hoyt Road, Cascade Road, closest to Brady Road, Ball Road, and Pumpkin Hill Road. And whereas the Town of Warwick Board is the seeker lead agency for conducting the environmental review of the proposing permanent replacement of retaining wall damaged during Hurricane Ida along Old Ridge Road. And whereas there are no other involved agencies pursuant to seeker, and whereas the Town of Warwick Town Board has reviewed 5 short environmental assessment forms, EAFs, for these actions dated January 16, 2025, the probable environmental effects of these actions, and has considered such impacts as disclosed in each EAF. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Warwick Board adopts the findings and conclusions related to the probably environmental effects contained within each EAF and negative declaration, and authorizes the town supervisor to execute the EAFs and file the negative declarations in accordance with the applicable provisions of law. And be it further resolved that the town board authorizes the town supervisor to take such further steps as might be necessary to discharge the lead agency's responsibilities on these actions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion that we pay all audited bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. At this time, we'll open it up to privilege of the floor on any general topic. Yes, if you would mind coming up, stating your name. And the clerk.
Yeah, it's an odd spelling too. It's Jean, Jeanne, Maron, Marron. I'm just curious, there's a contradiction between what you said in the workshop and what you wrote in a resolution and entered orally into the record. You said $2,900 per day in the workshop, and now it says per hour. That's a huge difference.
Oh, the resolution says per hour?
On number 117, yeah.
My typo, sorry.
Well, thank you for
Okay, but it
pointing
was
that
also
out.
read into the record. I just want to, yeah.
I got it. Yeah,
I
we'll-
hope
we'll
you
take
don't
that.
approve $2,900 per hour.
pointing that out.
I object to that. The other thing, I have no idea what the whole cemetery thing is, but it might be a good idea if there's like cleanup needed with Earth Day coming up in the spring and, you know, civil service groups, maybe reach out to some of them to help with.
The Greenwood Lake
Clean up
Scouts
and
do,
that
for
thing.
Earth Day, they do go out there and clean up the
Okay,
cemetery.
good, all right. And then just lastly, you need to have some of the electronics fixed here. There's a really bad noise coming out of that
Okay,
particular thing when you talk.
thanks. What number was the resolution? Well, right here says per hour, but does the resolution say?
Per day.
I understand that, but where's the resolution to accept
I will
it?
find it.
Page 5.
I make a motion that we amend resolution number 117. The amending will change this to, I make a motion to accept the bid proposal for Material Processors, Inc. for the grinding and removal of wood, stumps, and brush at the Warwick DPW yard and Greenwood Lake in an amount not to exceed $2,900 per day.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Good observation. Anyone else? Okay. Our next meeting will be Thursday, February 27, 2025 at 7 p.m. The workshop can be up to 90 minutes preceding that meeting. Also at 7 p.m., we will continue the public hearing if it is not closed before. I can't imagine we're going to close that public hearing. We'll keep it open, and any comments that we receive from the public will be shared and communicated to the public. At this time, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thanks for coming, everybody.